Hey guys, it's Halo553. Welcome back to another Beyblade X unboxing and review. Today we're going to be checking out the last of the booster packs from Wave 7 of Hasbro, that being Ridge Triceratops. Now going over the packaging quickly, as you can see it's very similar to the other booster packs that we have looked at from Wave 7, with no rip tab, and then on the back of the box it just goes over all the parts that we do get in this release. So of course we have the Ridge Triceratops blade, ratchet is 980, and we have the gear needle bit. So, let's get into it. So here is Ridge Triceratops out of the packaging. Now this bay is a straight repaint of the Monsterosaurus blade that we originally got in the Jurassic World collab packs last year. So you already will know what to expect from this blade if you do already own that collab pack. But we do have a different combo here compared to Monsterosaurus. But let's now take a deeper dive into all the parts that we do get in this booster release. So first off we have the Ridge Triceratops blade. Now this is a BX defense type blade, so you do have the plastic covering over the gear chip and it does spin freely. Now this is a retool of Sphinx Cowl, so you are going to be seeing very similar performance to the original Sphinx Cowl blade, but do keep in mind it is quite a bit lighter by about 3 to 4 grams, which is not exactly great. But I do love the motif on the blade, it looks absolutely fantastic. Mainly the gear chip, I think this looks really good. Honestly, it looks a lot better than Triceratops. But honestly, do not expect this blade to be really super competitive due to its lightweight, and plus Sphinx Cowl is definitely very outclassed, even as a defense type. But if you keep this in certain lightweight tier groups, this actually should do really well. Especially in certain attack type combos, as Sphinx Cowl originally worked really well as an attack type if you put it on certain attack type combos, but definitely probably keep it in that same ballpark. But honestly, love the way the blade looks. While it's definitely probably not going to be the most competitive, looks wise, it looks really freaking cool. Next up we have the 980 ratchet. Now this is not a new part, we have gotten this part a few times now from Hasbro, but we do have some new colors for it, and some really nice green colors in fact. So it's not intrusion points at the 80 height, so it is a little bit taller, so your bits are going to probably be a lot more susceptible to bursting. But the ratchet does have a much tighter ratchet lock, so it's going to be harder to burst it at the ratchet though. But really like the colors on this. 980's a pretty decent ratchet, it does see a little bit of use even despite its taller height, but definitely probably not as much use compared to 970 and 960. But even still, really happy to see 980 get another release, and in a booster no less, and really do like the brand new colors they have used for this 980 ratchet. Finally for the bit, we have Gear Needle. Now this is not a new part, we've gotten this bit a few times now from Hasbro already, but we do have a new color for it in this same green color that the 980 comes with. Gear Needle is not the best defense type bit. While it does have some uses in certain combos, it's definitely not the most practical. But again, I do like the new colors in it. Honestly, I would have preferred to have seen a different bit used here over Gear Needle, but I can't really complain too much about it. With this combination of parts, it makes Ridge Triceratops a defense type, but now let's get all the parts over to the scale and see how much all of them weigh. Alright, let's now weigh up Ridge Triceratops. So, the Gear Needle bit, this weighs 2 grams exactly. 980 weighs 6.84 grams, and Ridge Triceratops itself, this one weighs 29.77 grams, so yeah, it is a fairly light blade. There are some Ridge Triceratopses that are hitting 30 grams, but not really much of an improvement when you compare it to Sphinx Cowl. As you see, this one weighs 32.56, so this is almost 3 grams lighter, which isn't great. So let's put the whole bay together. So 180, Gear Needle. this full combo. I do like the colors. I think the new colors for the rat and the bit look really nice. So altogether, Ridge Triceratops weighs 38.66, so yeah, not the best weight for it. But let's try it out in some test spins and some test battles. Alright, now we're going to do some test spins and some test battles with Ridge Triceratops. Now I'm expecting this to perform fairly similar to Monstersaurus, but just being a bit more defensive considering its own gear needle. So you can see, being a needle bit is staying relatively in the center. Now this is pretty much the stock combo for Sphinx cows, so it's going to be very, very similar to that, like, as well. Which, I'll be honest, isn't really ideal. People tended to have this more on an attack type combos because Sphinx cows seem to do really well attack-wise. Granted, this could be the same, similar to Monstersaurus, but I mean, if you keep this in lightweight tiers, it should do pretty well. But let's see how it does against some opponents. Oh, look how loose that bit was. Wow. Oh, that's Quake for you. It's very unpredictable. Yeah, it had no chance there. I only put it up against Mummy just so you can see the massive difference of how useful it is compared to a much heavier bay. I mean, this bay is pretty much almost 8 grams heavier, which is a big difference right now in competitive. So that is it for my look at Ridge Triceratops. It's an alright release overall, but it's definitely something that they could have improved in a few areas. Now, it is really cool to see that they are releasing this blade outside of the Jurassic World collab pack, finally. I think it was a bit weird seeing a new retool in a collab pack, when the rest were all just repaints. So pretty cool to be able to get this in a standard booster now. But my main complaint with the release, though, is that I kinda wish it wasn't the Sphinx Cow stock combo. That's really my main complaint here, as considering that Sphinx Cow just got a reissue in the Yggdrasil team pack from Amazon, I honestly would have liked to have seen some different parts here, maybe like 965 and some different defense type bits that haven't been widely released yet from Hasbro. But other than that, I'm really happy with this release. I think the motif looks fantastic, and if you're a dinosaur lover, I think you'll definitely get a nice kick out of this. Now, do keep in mind, it is fairly lightweight, so if you're pitting this up against anything like 35 grams above, it's going to get knocked around a lot. But if you keep this in certain lightweight tiers, this actually should do pretty decently. But other than that, I'm actually really happy with this release. So my final thoughts on Ridge Triceratops is a little bit mixed. I would have liked to have seen some different parts used instead of 980 gear needle. And honestly, the weight could have been a bit better. But honestly, if you haven't picked up a Sphinx Cow yet, this is definitely going to be a great way to pick this up again as a retool. And honestly, the motif looks really cool, which is definitely one of the strongest points for this release. So I say if you like the motif and you haven't gotten any of these parts yet, I do recommend picking it up. But if you're a competitive blader, maybe this is probably one you could skip. But honestly, I personally really like it. But anyways, that's going to do it for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Beyblade X videos in the future. And until then, I'll see you all in the next video.